Hello and welcome to Rev Sports Live. We are back for the 13th game of the IPL. It's been a good start to the IPL, what is christened as IPL version 2.0, given the massive reshuffle of players across franchises and two new teams. In fact, just before the show, we were struggling to name a player who used to play for a particular franchise simply because it's a bit hard to keep up. But that's why we are here to discuss about matches, players, tactics. And today I have a very, very special panel. Obviously, Joydeep Mukherjee joins us in pink. I don't know if that's suggestive of his preference for the team that he's voting tonight. Of course, Debashish Sen, known as Mama, and Abhijit Deshmukh. Welcome, gentlemen. We are here for Game 13. Very, very interesting game. Rajasthan Royals, 2 wins back-to-back. What a turnaround for them from the last season. And RCB, decent start, 50-50. They chased down a pretty big total, but against, they lost when they posted a big total. And, against KKR, they just about managed to sneak through. So, I'm going to get started with Joydeep. What I really want to understand is, fundamentally, according to you, what has changed for Rajasthan Royals? Is it the auction that they've got such a well-balanced batting top order, middle order? They've got two top-class spinners. Is it the auction, and that's what's showing through in the in the matches, or are there tactical reasons why you see RR doing so well in this particular IPL tournament?
Yeah, thanks for that. Before I get into RR, I want to say that Debashish's t-shirt is also pink. And it was more pink during the pink ball test match, but he's seen a few washes since. It was a while back, the first one in Kolkata. So it's kind of become whitish, but it was also pink back in the day, right, Debashish?
Absolutely, Joydeep da. Spot on.
Okay.
Halla bol. Halla bol.
Wow.
So, okay. That's a great question, Prantik, because I feel they always had the batting, but I don't think they had the bowling. See, anytime you have either one, then the pressure comes on the other one. If your batting is really good, and if you don't have the bowling to back it up, then the batters feel, I need to get 25 more than what's par. And then you end up getting 25 less. Because you're trying to do more than you want to do. The same with the bowling. If the bowling is not is strong and the batting isn't, then as a bowling unit, you feel, I need to get this team all out at 140. All the 160s probably. So to get them all out at 140, end up giving 170 or 180. So it's a double-edged sword. I think they have a very balanced team and they have some match winners. But what really separates them this year is their bowling. I think it's superb. All 5 bowlers who are bowling right now are top of their game. The green wickets are suiting them. Mumbai is suiting them. The red soil is suiting them. There's a bit of grass. It's jogging around. They're in the form of their lives. They've got the best spinners in the country. So if you look at that, they've got the best red ball spinner. They've got the best white ball leg spinner. They've got everybody. And along with that, they've got people like Josh Butler and all who can just... See, with the batters, you need 2 people to fire. With the bowlers, if you 2 people fire and the 3 don't, you lose the game. So with the batting unit, it's always 2 people fire, a couple of guys chip in, and you're there. But with the bowling unit, out of 5, 4 need to fire, and 1 can just about hold its own. If 5 fire, nothing like it. But ideally, if 2 or 3 fire and 2 don't, you lose the game. So that is where Rajasthan is really looking solid this year.
So very, very well-balanced side, great batting performance, and obviously, as Jadita mentions, their bowling firepower, whether it's the pacers or the top 2, spinners in the country. Abhijit Deshmukh, I'm going to come back to you on this particular. Let's talk a bit about the batting of both sides. Now, obviously, RCB seems to be very, very dependent on Faf and Kohli and the top order. And clearly, in the case of RR, their middle seems to be fairly strong. There's an interesting stat that in the middle overs as well, they're not slowing down. They're kind of scoring at more than 10 runs and over, which is pretty much, not the case with many, many teams. From your perspective, what does RCB need to do differently? Because it seems to me, at least on the outside, that very, very top heavy, very dependent on the top. From your perspective, what does Kohli's team need to do differently? Or rather, I don't know if it's right to say Kohli's team or Faf's team, which, by the way, I've just seen the update that RCB has won the toss, and as expected, they will be bowling first. But your thoughts on RCB's batting strategy tonight?
Well, I'm not sure if Maxwell is playing today. So I think that's going to be an adding advantage.
He's not. The Aussies are not playing right now.
I think that's what RCB is missing right now, because Maxwell was in tremendous form last season. and they have retained him. So I think he is the one where which will bring a good balance. Although I think RCB has a good middle order as well. They have Dinesh Karthik who played a crucial knock in the last winning match. So I think once Maxwell is back, they'll have a very good balanced side from the batting perspective. And I think, see, I mean, Faf and Virat, of course, are the world class, but I think you need a finisher. So I think that once the Maxwell is back, then DK will come a little bit later, or we may see some shift in the RCB batting lineup. So they need the finisher. What we have, Dhoni as in passport CSK. That's what they're like. And I think, but today's game is going to be extremely difficult for them because RR is on the winning side. They've won 2 matches. They are, tip everywhere, be it opening pair, the middle order, the bowling, and all the unit they have picked. I think RR today are real good favorites.
So you're also on the Halla Bowl side tonight, looks like.
Yeah, I mean, they're a great side and they're performing very well, so I'm going with the group.
Good to hear that. Devashishan, do you have the playing 11 for us? If you could give us the list and your take on both sides, please.
Both teams are unchanged. That's for a change for the first time in this IPL. Both the teams are going unchanged, and obviously with Maxwell not available, he is only going to be available from the 9th, which is the Mumbai Indians games, and also Jason Barendorf and Hazelwood also not available. So, but then if you look at the matchups, I think not much to choose from both the sides. If you look at the bowling attack, means obviously both have tremendous bowlers to back them. Obviously, Prasidh Krishna, Trent Bolt, and Navdeep Saini, along with Ravichandran Ashwin and Yajishwal. On the other side, if you look at, you have someone like a Mohammad Siraj and Akashdeep and Harshal Patel, and also David Willey. And to back it up is they have the spin twin of Hasaranga and Shahbaz Ahmed. So I think not much to choose much between both the sides. So it will be a cracker of a match. I think RCB would be a bit wary because they have posted 205 runs and they ended up losing. So that's going to be working on their mind. But the good thing is that they have won the toss and elected to bowl first.
Fair enough. Joydeep, coming, obviously Rajasthan's batting. Joss Butler's, scored a century. There is Jaiswal, Devdutt, Hetmeyer, Sanju, and then Rian before the bowlers come in. Now, if you're on the RCB camp, given the bowling resources, especially, Harshal and Hasaranga, I mean, what's the best way to stop someone like Butler who seems to be on song?
Well, Butler is on song. All you can do is pray, I suppose. But you would hope for a failure because in this version, especially in the first 6, you go and take chances, you take a lot of risks, and hopefully what plans you have, what video session you worked on, it works for you. Sometimes no plans work because that's what this game is about. It's about skill between ball and bat. But when I look at the Rajasthan Royals team, Butler is in awesome form. Yashasvi Jaiswal has not hit form yet. Padikkal hasn't hit form yet. Sanju has had a really good innings. Shimran Hetma has been okay. Rayan Parag has been cold. So if I see, except the 2 batters, not too many have been in tremendous form. You always want a team where everybody's hit form. I know it's early days and you can't hit form in 4 or 5 games, but you would even want a Rayan Parag to get a 13, 16 balls in 1 game at least. You would still want Devdutt Padikkal and Yashasvi Jaiswal to get a 13, 18 balls just to know that we are also there. We are also ticking the boxes. But right now, my only worry if I was Rajasthan Royals is that if for some reason Butler and Sanju don't get going, who will? And whoever will for the first time. So in this tournament, because none of them have got big runs yet. And it's not that everybody is scored, so the others haven't had a chance. We saw that in Chennai a couple of years back. 1, 2, 3 were so good, 5, 6, 7 never got to bat. So they were looking good. But that's because 1, 2, 3 were very good. Here, that's not been the case. Here, a couple of people are in awesome form and the others are not really in form. That is not an ideal mix you would want. You want some people in awesome form and the others also in decent form to chip in and to be able to play the 50 ball 70 need be.
Absolutely. Long way to go. You want your, all different engines to warm up so that they can start performing and firing when we kind of enter the business end of the tournament. Bijit, there's a lot of talk in this particular IPL about the different mini contests. We have a Butler and Ashwin in the same team, given what's transpired before. There's good talk about Hasaranga's, bowling to someone like Samsung, who he has kind of, taken wickets, and Samsung's found it a bit difficult to score of him. Bolt versus Duplessis. What are some of the battles that you are kind of looking forward to in this particular match?
Well, I'm quite excited for Chahal versus Kohli. If I'm not wrong, Chahal is on the other side, and I think he has played with Kohli, being in the Indian side or the RCB. So that is going to be interesting battle, how things goes on. And then obviously, Chahal was not retained, so it will be I don't know how it will be a point to prove to RCB, but I think when a player plays against previous franchise, I think that adds a bit of kick, and I think especially when he's against Kohli, I think he'll have a point of. I'm not sure whether they have been on the other side played before. But I think that will be the battle. I think not only me, I think everyone will be interested. I think what Chahal was with RCB for 8 years. I think, and before that he was with I think with Mumbai. So I don't know whether they had the battle. But I think Chahal versus Kohli will be the battle to look at.
No, very, very good point there. I mean, he's been with RCB for so long, highest wicket taker, 139 odd wickets, I believe. And I am sure there are some raw sentiments of kind of not being picked. And I'm sure he's generally a lot of, points to be proven, just because I suppose he's probably gotten a bit of a raw deal when it comes to the international side as well. And Debashi said, that's my question to you. I mean, again, you had talked about this during the auction period. Do you think RCB has kind of missed that trick by not retaining someone like Chahal?
Absolutely. He has been the match winner for RCB over the years. 2014 to 2021, he is the highest wicket taker with 139 wickets for RCB. And last 4 seasons, he has been the highest wicket taker for RCB. Can you imagine? And not to have retained after performing so well over the years. And it was quite upsetting. They did not even bid for Chahal at the auction.
And retaining only your last year's highest wicket taker, which is Harshal Patel. So you've gone for 1 year over the last 5 years, which is very surprising.
Absolutely. So as Avijit rightly said, I would also be looking forward to it. Will be a lot to prove as far as Chahal is concerned. Means obviously a franchisee where he has played so well, given his best throughout the years, and now to find himself against them. So that will be an interesting duel. And talking about, you did mention about Hasaranga's duel against Samsung. He did tested success in 4 T20 internationals. He has taken him thrice. So it will be very interesting if Samsung goes into bat and immediately you find Faf du Plessis bringing in Hasaranga. So that will be an interesting battle. So I would be quite interesting to see. And even Butler also haven't tested that much success against Hasaranga. So I think both the informed players, informed batters of Rajasthan Royals have not done well against someone like a Hasaranga, who we know that he's amongst weakest. He has already taken 6 wickets and looks to be in a man in form.
Yeah, just on that Prantik. Yeah, just on that Prantik. I know Chahal and Virat have played against each other in the nets, in India nets, everywhere. So when you play each other a lot, there's a sense of comfort, which doesn't mean that you won't score runs or you won't get him out. All I'm saying is, with Hasaranga, what has happened is you're not sure. Unless you play him, every bowler is unique. Unless you play him a few times, you don't know him that well. So that is one of the key points to this game. Like a Chahal or somebody who's been playing for India. How many times have Chahal bowled to Virat Kohli in RCB, in India nets, in white ball nets, everywhere they've bowled. So I remember funny story, when Ajanta Mendes first came to Kolkata Knight Riders in 2008, nobody understood him. I've seen people like Salman Bhat shoulder arms and get bowled. Okay, they had no clue. But the first guy who started picking him was Riddhiman, because he was the keeper. And he was keeping to him. Batters would come and bat for 15 minutes, but he would keep for 2.5 hours. So he was getting more of what is going on. And then when he batted the best against him, because he could see what is going on. He's beginning to read him. Same with Sunil Narayan when he came. In fact, Sunil doesn't bowl to the international batters in the nets at all. Or he never used to back in the day. because he didn't want didn't want his mystery to come out. He's a mystery bowler. If you instantly bowl to every batter, they'll sort you out. So that is where Asaranga has a huge role to play because, no leg spinner is the same. No off spinner is the same. Their actions are different. The wrist position is different. Their release is different. And the leg spinner is even more so because of just the repertoire that they have.
No, very, very good point on the spinners and apps. Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah, I just want to ask, like, what will be the mindset of both Chahal and Kohli today? Like, because they have again played in the nets, but during the match, will there be something thinking differently about each other?
I'm guessing that Jolita, that question is probably for you. Can you kind of see some sort? I think Abhijit's question is around. Do you see some sort of a mind battle, some sort of tussle between a Kohli and Chahal, given that they're playing on opposing sides?
Yeah, I mean, they're buddies, but you still hold your own. You are Kohli and I am Chahal. I have my place in cricket and you have your place in cricket. So this is like the English Premier League. The transfer happens and somebody's playing for Everton and 2 weeks later he's playing for Man U against Everton and he's getting booed in the parks. So it's a bit like that. It's season-wise. It doesn't happen in the season like it happens in the EPL. But all I'm saying here is they get used to this though. I mean, he's not the only one. I'm very surprised they let him go. I'm very surprised Delhi let Shikhar Dhawan go. But that's, the franchises know what they're looking at. I would never let a Shikhar Dhawan go, even for a Prithvi Shaw. I know there's a 12, 14-year age difference, whatever. A 600-run season a year. He's a banker.
Yeah.
Prithvi will win you 3 or 4 games.
Joydeep, I was going to just allude to that because there was a question from one of our fans around this a couple of days, and I thought today is a good day to ask you. Is someone had a very bold question, maybe albeit a bit controversial, is the fact that there are some cricketers, some very heavyweight cricketers who have either retired or probably on their way out from the international scene. His question was, should the IPL give chances to, if I can name the Dinesh Kartiks and the Dhonis versus the Anuj Rawats, Jaiswals and the Navdeep Sainis and the Harshal Patels or the Akashdeeps. What's your view? I mean, from an IPL perspective, do you see a place for both the experienced and near retirees or post-retirees versus should it be a platform purely for the youth? What's your take from a cricket development standpoint?
It's only for the people who belong there. Only the best play. You look at Dhoni's innings.
So it doesn't matter by age, experience, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Look at Dinesh Karthik's innings.
Yeah.
Look at the way you can look at Dhoni's innings. Look at how Shikhar is playing at 36, 37, whatever he is. So it's all performance related. It doesn't matter. In fact, now age actually doesn't matter. When I played, 34 was old. Now 34 is young. Now 38, 39, especially for the fast bowlers, for the spinners, 38, 39 is nothing. And look how fit they are. Look at Shikhar Dhawan. He looks at 32, 33 to me. Look at Virat Kohli. He looks at 28 to me. So it's not by the age, but by how good you are, how fit you are. In our time, age mattered because nobody was that fit. So age showed. Now the age doesn't show.
Very well said. It should all be about on-field performance and the value that... Yes, Abhijit.
Just like to add here, I think we are forgetting Praveen Tambe. Made a debut at 41 and I think we played several seasons for Rajasthan. I think, T20 especially not bound to release him. I think if you're fit, if you're capable, as Jadida said, it belongs to the best who are there. I think it's all about that. So I think it doesn't matter like what's your age. If you're performing well, IPL is for you.
Yeah, Chennai won it last year with everybody said daddy's team, but you need experience. In T20 cricket, there are a couple of fielders you can actually hide. The short fine, the short mid wicket, there's a deep mid wicket, there's a sweep. So you can hide. You can't hide 11. But if you have 2, 3, the Imran Tahir, the Sunil Narayan, the Varun Chakravarti, 2 or 3 you can hide. But you can't in 50 overs. You can't in test matches. More so. Because test match, you're either brilliant in the slips or you're in the outfield. If the 3 guys in the slips, then you're at lone cover, you're at lone mid-on, you're at lone fine leg. But here, it's more spread out. There are people backups behind you. So if there's a dodgy fielder, he'll be at mid-wicket, there'll be a deep mid-wicket as well. You'll never find Sunil Narayan standing in the covers. He'll always be at short fine or at mid-wicket. So he's not one of the stronger. You'll never find Varun Chakravarti at short third. You'll never find him at point. So they are sort of getting him in places. But all I'm saying is, if Varun was, Sunil Narayan is not the fittest, but look at what he brings to the park. So it's all about
Absolutely.
your skills, all about your skills.
Skills, performance, the attitude that you bring. And you point very well made about age, fitness that we see today. Debash is saying, I mean, I want to get to Virat Kohli, right? Now, recently, I think Shastri mentioned in one of the shows about, him. He wants to see Kohli sweep and play the spinners, with a lot more gusto and guts. What's your take on, how have you seen Virat in the last two games? And do you see a slightly changed Virat, especially against spin? And what's your take on, potentially Virat opening the innings as well? Do you see value in that? Your thoughts on Virat's approach and the way he's going, and what would you like to see more of?
Yeah, ideally, see, Virat normally doesn't sweep. Let's put it frankly, he doesn't sweep. He means seldom does he sweep, but then it will be a nice ploy if he does sweep, because that is what Ravi Shastri was mentioning a few days back in an interview. But he would love to see Virat playing those sweep shots, because see, paddle sweep or slog sweep, these are tailor made for T20 cricket. So if that adds more repertoire to your batting, to your armory.
Yeah,
So if you,
yeah, I agree with Mama. I mean, but VVS Lakshman never swept, and he could bat. So the alternative for sweep is the step out and play. People who don't step out and play sweep. So the more you add, the better it is. I mean, it's the range you can have, but it's not a shot you have to have. Now, did we ever feel VVS Lakshman getting stuck? I have never seen VVS Lakshman getting stuck, but he didn't sweep. So there are ways of not sweeping, but if you don't have the step out, then you might want to sweep. Some people sweep really well. It's a natural, you can work on it, but you've got to be naturally good at it also.
Jayanta, on that point, do you see a reason? Kohli has tasted success when he opened for RCB. Is there a particular reason why he isn't, or he should not be opening? Are they trying to kind of keep some firepower down the order? What's your take? Should he be opening? Is there higher value in that?
I think it's his role. What role are you getting? Firstly, what is your role for India? I have a little bit of a question with the way they're treating Venkatesh Iyer. He bats at number 6 for India, bats at open over KKR, bats at 5 for MP. So the skills needed for these places are totally different. So he's stuck between the rock and the hard place right now. He doesn't know where to go. What is his role? And he's a young guy. He's had only half a good IPL. He's not a seasoned pro. He's not a Dinesh Karthik who can adjust. He's been just coming into this fray at this high level. So he had a superb half IPL with KKR, came into the Indian team, no place at the top. So I go at 6, okay at 6. Then, okay, he tells MP, I'm going to bat at 5 because that's my role in India. IPL back, I'm opening. So it's not easy. So the point I'm trying to make here is that Virat will bat 3 in the T20 World Cup, and his role will be to bat around the batters that there are. Whoever is batting, if it's KL and Rohit to open, if it's Rishabh at 4, Surya at 5, Shreyas Iyer at 6, I don't know, whoever they are. Virat's role is to play 15 overs with them at a strike rate of 130. If he can do that, the others will bat at 150 and we'll be off and running.
Devashish, you had a point around that?
I just want to add, I won't be surprised when Maxwell comes in and if we see Virat opening the batting. That might be the case, because with obviously when Maxwell comes in, Rutherford has to make his way out, and then you are left with an option, because you have a lot of firepower with Maxwell coming in. Then it becomes a point that Virat can promote himself up the order.
Fair enough. Jayanta, one more question. If I look at the Rajasthan Royals, we have two young fast bowlers from India, Navdeep and Prasidh. We've spoken a lot about, when they were playing the different series that you and I were covering. What are your takes as to what's the similarity or differences in UC? How do you kind of compare these two bowlers? Prasidh had a great game previously. What's their style? What's their approach? And, what's working for these two bowlers from a future of India perspective?
Very similar bowlers, both tall, both hit the deck, both quick. These are very important qualities for a fast bowler. And I have seen Navdeep Saini blow Bengal away third day between tea and end of day's play in Pune, where the wicket was flat. I can't tell you how good that spell was. That was the Ranji quarterfinals, and on a wicket where the game was evenly poised, and he bowled a spell where he got 6 in one spell in about 8 overs, and he blew it away. Just not the wickets he got, how he got the wickets. So he got the Ishwarans, the Manoj Tiwaris, the Anushtup Majumdars, the hardcore players for Bengal, the seasoned first-class players. It's the way he got them that showed this guy special. And I'm talking about good 4 or 5 years back. About 5 years back. So All I'm saying is somebody who can bowl that spell, I know that this, that's how you recognize somebody in domestic cricket. And, this guy is made for the higher level. It's in the domestic level, they do things which others don't do. There might be people getting more wickets. Just the way you get the wickets, the way Lakshman got runs when he was out of the Indian team, way Saurav Ganguly came and got runs for Bengal in front of my own eyes. Arunla got more runs than him, but the quality of the runs, that's what separates, the cloth material.
And do you see, and when you see a Prasidh Krishna, what kind of impresses you? He's obviously played international cricket. He's had a good IPL beginning. Anything in particular that impresses you about Prasidh?
Yeah, basically both of them have pace, and pace can be your biggest enemy if you're not on the spot. That is their issue right now. When they're, we call it tappa, in cricket language. They're tappa. Once they becomes a Jasprit Bumrah tappa, Bhuvneshwar Kumar tappa, Umesh Yadav tappa, they'll be outstanding bowlers. They'll be world beaters. Right now, they bowl a couple of balls and over, which is not in the tappa. So those get leaked for runs because then the pace of the ball is used, whether it's outside off stump or on the hips, whatever. Once they get accurate, once they get seasoned, once they get cooked properly, world beaters.
All right. We are at the business end of the show. I'm sure everyone's kind of looking forward to making their fantasy 11. Some big names, Josh Butler, Chahal, Samson, Duplessis, Kohli, etc. But let's quickly get your take on, clearly all three of you kind of favor Halla Bowl tonight. It's all going to be pink. But let's get your views. Abhijit, you probably
Abhijit
know
is in orange. Abhijit is in orange. He's going for SRH.
Well, I don't know.
He's a lone one for SRH.
He's the lone warrior for SRH. But Abhijit, you know Wankhede probably better than most of us. What's your take? We've seen mixed bag of scores in the IPL, high scoring, low scoring games. What's your take tonight? What's the ideal target that the Rajasthan guys would be looking to post? They've had pretty high scoring games so far.
No, I think the matches that's played at Wankhede not been much of high score. So I think probably if they bowl well, I think 160, 170. But after the 9 p.m., there's a lot of dew, so that will be the factor. That's why they have chosen to bowl. So I think 160, 170 will be a pass score for Rajasthan.
So you're saying Rajasthan makes 160, 170, and they're winning tonight?
Yep.
Devash, saying your take? Do you concur?
I would slightly put my money on RCB. The sheer fact that they have won an important toss. So as has been the template in this tournament so far, obviously.
What about the T-shirt?
No.
Yeah, he's a chameleon right now.
I would still root for Rajasthan Royals.
Next time, bring 2 T-shirts and come and wait for the toss.
No, the sheer
come bare-bodied. Come bare-bodied, pick the T-shirt and then wear it after the toss.
No, neutrally speaking, I would say it's a very good toss to win for RCB. Obviously, Rajasthan has defended on both the cases, but then if RCB can restrict the Rajasthan batting to say a par score 150, 160, you never know, because the firepower the RCB batting they have, I think they can easily chase down the target.
Jaditha, do you necessarily agree with this? I mean, obviously, bowling first, everyone's going. But, RCB seem to struggle against KKR on a slow target as well. What's your take? What's the minimum score? What should RCB kind of restrict Rajasthan to?
Prantik, I said this yesterday. These teams, except SRH, in my humble opinion, are very evenly matched. So whoever plays well on that day, I don't think toss and all is that big an issue. I have a feeling that it's whoever plays well on these. I can't remember an IPL where 9 teams have been so well matched. We've always seen a cluster, Mumbai and Chennai and KKR, Hyderabad with the Warners and everybody else. They looked different, and then there were the Rajasthan Royals and the Punjab and the couple of teams that did not seem in the same league. This IPL, everybody's evenly matched. It's anybody's game. The only reason I'm going with pink is because I'm against Veda, and Veda will go with RCB. So that's the reason I'm in pink. But I love RCB.
So what's your score prediction tonight? What are we seeing tonight?
I have a feeling that I haven't seen the pitch. That's the only reason I can't say. If it's not green and jagging around, I think 180 is on the cards. See, once it's green and it jags around, which we have seen enough of, I mean, we started the IPL with that, with Umesh Yadav with that spell, with Shami with that spell. We've seen that. And we saw Avesh yesterday. If it's green and it jags around, then it's 160. If it doesn't, then it's 180, 185, and even more.
All right, match time. It's game between RR and RCB. RR at a point in terms of points at number 1, RCB at 7. Lots of mini battles as we discussed. Let's enjoy the game, and the panel will be back after the game. Have a good one, guys.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you, Pranti.